I'm a bit late to the party. I'm surprised on why I didn't speak about this beforehand. But since, we're making our way and I guess we're technically 9 days out from global releasing, I think it's best to talk about it. Because why not? Now, with every single hunter, being the SSRs, in due time, you are going to be able to craft their gear. Now, with the amount of SSRs there are, some people are going to be kind of questioning which are the SSR weapons to choose from. Now, at the end of the day, it comes down to what SSR units you have, but it might be smarter not to jump the gun and waste your materials on, let's say, a character's weapon when you might, for whatever reason, get lucky to pull then a broken SSR, a high tier SSR, to where you might want to cater to their weapon more rather than creating a weapon for a character that is kind of like not really needed, and you can kind of wait for their crafting to be done at a later stage. All right, because of course you can still utilize the SR weapons and whatnot, they still work just as fine, but there are certain characters that by having their weapon makes them just that more better, so with all that being said, let's start things off with the ones that I would say cater to, focus on, the ones that you really want to kind of craft first, and hope and pray that you get these characters, of course, so that way you can kind of speed up the process and get on with it. So we'll start things off with the two boys, being Choi and Beast, of course. These two being, like, technically speaking, like the best DPS characters in the game, of course. Now, obviously, in the means of these characters releasing, if you summon enough, you can, technically speaking, get these weapons for free. But if it does come down to crafting, then I think Choi will be the better option to make sure to craft his gear, due to the fact that when it comes to his weapon, sorry, so he gets an increase of 5% for his attack, which is beautiful when attacking targets that are burned. So, extra hand. So not only are they taking DOT, you get an extra 5%, but more importantly, you're getting that defense decrease of 7%. So when it comes to the defense decrease, Choi does have it on his kit, but it's through the support, so that's good in terms of having him as a support unit for Jinwoo. But in terms of using the character as a hunter to support the team, the only defense decrease that he provides is through the QTE skill. So by having his weapon itself, it just kind of opens up on having that consistency of that 7% defense decrease just being applied non-stop, right? And I don't know whether or not if you can double stack the decrease for the defense, or whether you can, because I know you can stack it through two characters. So for example, if I use Choi and then I used another character, being the light version of Yonho, of course, because he can also drop defense. I know that the defense from these two characters do stack, like both of them get applied, so I'm not too sure if it stacks up with Choi's, but regardless, you still got an opening to apply that defense drop. And then of course he's got other means to go about consistently applying burn, so you get that plus 5%. So in terms of like a free-to-play manner, or like an early stage for just creating the initial gear, Choice will be more beneficial. But Beast himself, again, with this character, obviously he's losing HP, and so to have his, and obviously on top of that you are also enhancing his basic attack, especially with the speed, damage output and whatnot. So to have a weapon that can provide you more with the increased damage on his basic attack, as well as correlating the damage boost from the loss of HP, it just kind of builds up. A duped out Beast, I think, is the highest DPS character, correct me if I'm wrong, but speaking about it in terms of just the initial copy and just more in a free play manner, Choi will be the much better option, I would just say, if you wanted to craft it. But these two are something that you want to make sure that you are able to craft and apply onto the characters themselves. So two of the good ones, clearly, and then I think the other two is kind of self-explanatory, being Jiwoo and Emma. Now, for me, Emma was she was one of the SSRs that I managed to pull first, along with a few others, but I instantly catered to her weapon. At the time, I didn't have Jiwoo, but if I did have her, I would have jumped the gun and actually would have built her gear, because I have now, since obviously since I built her in that offensive manner, I did go ahead and build her gear. And so by having this, as you guys can see, it increases my crit hit damage by 5%. So that's why I say if you do get her, I would say initially build up the crit version of her, and then at that point you can then lean in towards and build up her shield side. or support side. But at the very beginning, if you cater to the crit side of things, her weapon is just an added bonus to the damage that she causes. So, you know, instantly 5% with the crit hit damage, and then when it comes to utilizing her weapons in and out of the heavy attack form and regular form, she increases her crit hit damage by 1%, stacking up 20 times. That's 20%, so 25%. And yeah, the damage output is one of the big reasons why she has made my life a whole lot easier with content that I, truth be told, struggled with. That she's dropping nuclear bombs, and keep in mind her skills are at constant usage. So yeah, she is on a regular basis dropping a ton of bombs. I just need to somehow cater to the MP side of things, and then we'll be golden. So between the two, I would cater to Jiwoo, but if you pull either or, cater to their weapons. So of course with Emma now, so she increases damage dealt to targets affected by break, so you get that extra 4%. Heat absorption activates. When heat absorption activates, the user's damage dealt increases by 1.5%, stacking up 4 times. So obviously with that weapon, in terms of getting that boostage from heat absorption, it is consistently being used throughout her basic skills. As long as you're using the basic skills, core attack, burn up, flame judgment, etc., you know, your heat absorptions come to effect, and then through those instances they'll provide her more in a support manner. Once you apply the flame cleave, then that changes up to heat emission, so not only have you got that damage increase through the heat absorption, and then as you go into heat emission, it just kind of piles it all on, because that's the attack inside of her, and you'll get more attack through the weapon itself. And obviously, as she is a fantastic breaker, just having that extra 4%, and again going into her, I mean, again, this is more of a long-term phase of her, but as you go on to get dupes of her, effectively making her one of the best breakers in the game, yeah, to have that damage increase whilst the enemy is broken, that is a huge plus. So that's a solid thing to take note of. But in terms of the characters that I've just mentioned being the 4, those are the 4, yeah, so that, yeah, those are the 4 that I would put on priority. And then after that, I think, so once you get those kind of squared away, we'll then focus on the next batch of characters, and straight off the bat, Min, just to help you out in terms of raising his HP, since he scales off that, because at the end of the day with this character, SSR healer, he's got good buffs, got good debuffs going on, so a character which everyone has on their team clearly, but it helps out on the HP scaling, so that's very nice to have that extra 2.5%. I should mention that with the percentages of these weapons, as you do work on them, they do go up. When the user uses Heavily Blessing, the users and team members damage dealt increases by 4% for 16 seconds, so added on from the punishment debuff that he can apply, to also have that, again, makes him one of the best supports in the game in terms of healing and allowing you to do more damage onto the enemy with the buffs that he can apply, which again caters to you doing more damage to the enemy. So yeah, it just kind of really buffs up the Heavily Blessing ultimate, so something to look into. I think, yeah, punishment is on the basic skill, so you can really pile this on, right, especially with that weapon. That's one of the weapons that I have built, by the way. So yeah, very good, I would recommend. And then of course you got Libora. I believe her weapon works in more on a support play too. Yeah, looking into the weapon, so she increases the user's attack by 2.5%, which again is not too bad. I mean, again, with the way that Libora is working, I mean, again, she scales up for attack, even though I guess you can utilize her in that support way. She is a fantastic attacking unit that deals actually a good amount of damage, so again, to get that extra 2.5%, not too bad. And then once again, targets hit by the user's strengthening charm have both the damage they take from critical hit and their chance of receiving critical hit damage increased by 2.5. So not only are we getting that damage boost, which is we'll take, but not only on top of that, it's that it's that support play. So obviously that strengthening charm reducing and allowing us to do more crits damage, along with the debuff removal, along with the enhancement to Dark Element, it really does pile on. So it's not a bad weapon, but it's something to kind of cater to after, you know, you get the priorities out of the way, of course. So yeah, now I'm just going to throw this on here, even though it's kind of second priority. Actually, I don't know if I want to now, because Chaien will release. You know what, I'll still throw him in here. So Yunho as of right now is obviously the light breaker slash damage dealer for the light typing. So it gives him an increase on 4% on his damage, and then when attacking targets with the white flame effect, increases the user's defense by 5%. Keep in mind he does scale off from defense. Obviously with the white flame, basically with 3 instances of effect have been stacked, it activates a violent explosion dealing damage equal to 400% of the user's defense and applies defense decrease to the target. So yeah, his final hits, excluding his basic attack, do pack an absolute punch. So I mean, I guess you can, you know, fall in line and cater more to the weaponry to support that. I mean, it's not a bad shout. I don't have it, but it is one of the weapons which I've seen a few people cater to at the very beginning, and it has hit pretty hard. Like, his final hit, just, it slaps. So yeah, I mean, for now I'll put it on second priority, but when Chaien drops, then, well, Chaien will be the first priority since she'll be the better light unit, but the breakage is still going to be best on him through that. But damage wise, Chaien will take the spot then. So technically speaking, even though she's not here, again, that's one of the units which you want to obviously focus on. In terms of oh god, I forgot what it does. Crit buff, right? We'll double check. We'll double check. I kind of forgot. Yeah, and then I think for lower priority, I will honestly put Lim, purely because with his bow itself, it just kind of caters to the ult. Although he does get the 4% dark damage, which is nice, but yeah, when they use a basic attack within 10 seconds after using quick attack Typhoon Fire, it increases attack by 6% for 30 seconds, so, and it's stacking up for 2 times, so that's an extra 12%. So it's just a little additional through the ultimate. I mean, it's not bad, but I wouldn't really put it on the high end on the priority side of things, but it's decent. Once you get to it, you get to it. Dongso is, I think his one's just straight up, yeah, damage. So yeah, increased wind damage of 4%, increases the user's basic skill damage by 3% when the impulsive revenge or madness effect activates, stacking up to 4 times. So that's what in total of what, 3% increase on his basic skill. So I mean, yeah, it's decent, but again, with where wind is at right now, it's low priority, unfortunately. And then Jinchul is a weapon. Oh, so technically speaking, this weapon we get for free, so yeah. Don't really need to. I mean, I personally wouldn't say it's not really exactly worth going furthermore into getting dupes compared to the others, since it is low priority, but it is a weapon that you'll get for free through the login, so we don't really need to cater to this weaponry since you already get it first thing. Okay, wait, what does it do? Increase the user's basic skill damage by 20. Oh, that's max though. Wait, do we have any low? Oh, there we go. Increase the user's basic skill damage by 5% when the user uses the basic skill, increases crit. Okay, yeah, okay, I forgot. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, priority. I'll put this unless they change it. As of right now, Chaien is coming off as a broken character. It'll be interesting to see on whether or not if they change things. Now, of course, with the global launch, I should really say that obviously Troy and Beast won't be there for you guys for the global players. So realistically, it is just going to be the 3 girls as priority, and then yeah, as I've said beforehand, second priority, and then low priority. Just keep it the same, to be honest. So Troy and Beast you won't need to cater to at the very beginning, since they're not going to be there and they'll be there at a later stage. So yeah, kind of makes your life a lot easier in terms of just focusing on certain units. But again, it really does come down to the SSRs on that you pull, and like I mentioned, don't rush into creating the gears. Wait it out, see if you get some of the top hunters. If you do, then you've got a beautiful way to start that character off in terms of building them up nicely and having their weapons ready for them to rock and roll. Just an FYI.